Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Wednesday, November 6th at 9:30 p.m. What the hell's going on? What kind of time is this? Well, we just had our election yesterday, and this morning I didn't get a chance to stream, so the captain has to stream and talk about what the hell just went down. That was a relatively clean conclusion to the election this AM. That's refreshing rather than insane shit that has gone down historically. Trump's our president. A red sweep, as they call it, which means basically anything that Republicans agree on gets through the entire gambit, the entire it goes through all the levels necessary to actually get executed, which is interesting from a Lummis standpoint and the Bitcoin Reserve, which has very large numbers in it. Yeah, Bitcoin go up if that type of legislation actually goes through. Oh my God. Aside from a variety of very interesting things like consensus lawsuit getting shut down, Gensler going goodbye, entire different tone out of the SEC, maybe a constructive tone, rulemaking. Esther Pierce, maybe she'll be maybe the new leader of the Securities and Exchange Commission. That'd be a much better environment, one of progress and not productivity, but a constructive environment where shit actually gets done. That'd be refreshing for once. Anywho, Trump's relationship with Ave is also interesting because Ave's absolutely crushing it, up another 8% after the daily close, yesterday's daily close. And that was like a 30% rip up at 187 real quick. This happens to be one of the most lovely structures in the entire crypto space other than Bitcoin. It's up over 300% from bottom, 22 bottom. Let's put a number on it. Let's give you guys a number. Uh, 315%, 311%. What a lovely asset. You know, hesitated from a cash flow perspective, but that's irrelevant. It is something that I took a small clip on for borrowing purposes, Go, and it turns out it's already doubled. All right, great. Check back in 4, 8, 12-year intervals. Even a small clip could turn into something very significant. And that's why you take the micro positions or the smaller positions aside from your core positions at times. You don't do that excessively. But this is Harvey we're talking about. So there's some rationale there. Curve punching past 26 cents, heading closer to 27 cents. This is refreshing from a bottom perspective. It's clearly a bottom perspective here. Let's zoom in on the daily. Yeah, got to get above that 100 on the daily. Barely pushing the 10. Great. Doesn't mean much. I'm sorry, that's the 50. 10's down here closer to the time weighted average price. That's a whole lot of horizontal chop. That level, that red line at 25 cents. What a bottoming process, to say the least. I mean, you can look at it like Bitcoin denominated. No matter what denomination you look at, has been a painful experience for persons. Albeit, what can I say? There's some capital that I have unlocking next week, next weekend. And if I find curve under 30 cents, yeah, under 30 cents, anywhere below 27 cents, and probably below 31, which is the 200 on the daily, take another fat clip, grab a couple 100,000 more. This thing changes a lot. This team. It's the least understood product in the entire crypto space. It's just like my last tweet, just before I posted the tweet for the stream this evening. SCRVUSD, which is about to launch. Folks don't understand dollars. They don't. I mean, Bitcoin's got a CAGR of 30%. Great. That's a big CAGR. That's a massive CAGR. That changes a lot. But if you could outperform that with dollars, is great. Check back 2100 by the turn of the century. Well, dead. It's meaningful to a degree, but we're all dead. So yeah, you can still fucks with dollars, so to speak. You can still manage things with dollars. There is no need to cram into the only trade. It's a big world out there. And a lot of people will continue to believe many different things. And there will continue to be many opportunities. Okay. So I'm very interested in SCRVUSD. Y'all know I'm very interested in S money as well. I mean, come on, this thing's going to do a TGE, a cap raise, once they get a couple of their discussed products out, like collateral, cross-chain collateral, where you could just start to literally just arbitrage your collateral and your interest rate from chain to chain, which is crazy. Because let's say you got collateral on, I got 2 grand or 2 ETH on base, just to put some collateral on base. I don't really care about the borrow rate, but I could just zap it over to um, optimism, which is a fraction of a percent. Once you can arbitrage the collateral and you can arbitrage the LP balance, that's something you currently can't even do with S or CRVUSD. Frankly, that's something you really can't do with anything, any CDP protocol, because you need the OFT to be able to do that, the Omni-Chain Fungible Token implementation from Stargate. So that's a big deal. It's an innovation from a crypto space perspective, and this is still an innovation from a meat space, fintech, TradFi perspective, these types of dollar products. What was the title of the stream? About monetization, permissionless. We've been talking for years about very similar protocols, and there's only been a couple of new protocols that I've talked about. And obviously, DeFi money, most recently, AWA as well, cross curve, which facilitates cross chain or cross market liquidity. These are the biggest fintech concepts in these markets. It's important to have a portfolio filled with these types of fintech products, or at least exposure to them in some way, shape, or form, because of the scale and the scope of the potential monetization. Potential monetization is beyond meme coin monetization, albeit I am watching that as well. I find let's digress for 2 seconds, because there's a couple of meme coins that potentially do very well in this kind of degenerate environment that's starting to fester, so to speak. Virtual Brett. I mean, this is really like a triangle of compression. Maybe that's a flag of sorts. We're on the daily time frame. 177 mil market cap. These types of things run. Got plenty of billion-dollar market cap meme crappers out there. But rather than a triangle of compression at the top of such a pole like that, Moonwell, Moonwell is a bit of a regression, and that is a nice higher low. So what you want to see is a little bit of a lower high, and then you want to see the triangle compression. This isn't such a large flag, but this is also a 242 mil market cap. But this is a lending protocol, a um, CDP on base, of which there is no CDPs on base. So that's there's significance to that. I think at least a protocol fork of something other than Compound would do better. I don't mean to downplay the potential for Moonwell and a fork of Compound, but I think there's better potential out there, better fintech. Um, It reminds me of literally like the aerodrome type of chart. It's $1 billion market cap. No, it's off my radar. Oh my God, Mog. 17 mil market cap. What was I looking at? DGen, 165 mil. What caught my eye? Oh yeah, SPX. Okay, where's the liquidity? Where's the liquidity? It's a 25 mil market cap with $387,000 in liquidity. But look at this chart. Who owns the liquidity? This is the type of thing where you pull up your bubble maps. You got to pull up bubble maps. I'm not pulling that up right now, but you take bubble maps and you throw in the SPX token contract, and you see where the hell the cap, where the hell the liquidity is, because that's relatively low liquidity for a modest market cap. That's not too much of a market cap compared to like a Brett, close to a bill. Okay, and this is a much more favorable chart structure. This is literally right on the verge of breakout. So that's interesting. And the liquidity is here on Aerodrome. Where else is the liquidity? Um, let's take the contract. Let's go to CoinGecko and see what kind of information they have. No, 2 mil. Here's 2 mil. Where is it? Oh, no, that's on the 15-minute chart. That's why. All right, it's the same thing as no, this is literally the Aerodrome chart. I'm just looking at it on Gecko Terminal versus Deck Screener. So it's the same exact chart, which, huh, it's 864 mil market cap. Okay, that's SPX. I don't know. I don't know. You want to make a meme coin? Make a damn meme coin. Drives me nuts looking at piecemeal data, trying to figure out which is the most correct perspective to be considering. This has 864 mil. Then over here we're at 25.6 mil. These are the same contracts. BB2C, BB2C. Let's go over here, CoinGecko, and see what they say. Oh, that's why. It's a 2.0. Oh my God, there's a 2.0. I can't. I can't. Why am I looking at this shit? I feel like $872 million market cap. Okay, take back what I was looking at on Deck Screener. This is just an incorrect market cap. Uh, that is an insane market cap. All right, maybe there isn't what I was looking at. I was looking at Aerodrome as well. This is 151 mil lick. So you're looking at SPX 96,000, whatever the damn ticker is, compared to Aerodrome at a very similar market cap. Is there a choice? Meanwhile, this is also in a decent structure. So this is kind of consistent with what I'm talking about here. Monetization, regulatory arbitrage is a hell of a drug. Aerodrome has up only written on it from a base perspective and the Coinbase narrative. Now, what's pertinent is position size, portfolio composition, and do you have enough capital? Let's, for example, its rate of return is pretty wild considering how Coinbase uses it for on-chain arbitrage. You're talking what, 30, 40, 50%? So this is the type of thing where a relatively modest sized portfolio, let's say $100,000, and you break out 25% of it for uh, 50% APR, and you're talking 12 and a half, 10, let's say nine to $13,000 a year, um, on your 25% portfolio allocation, 9 to 13. So that's 9 to 13% on the $100,000 portfolio. That sure is outperforming risk-free rate of return. That's giving you potential upside exposure to the market cap upside of Aerodrome. It's at a billion. Um, Back in 2021, top 100 was at a billion, and like top 20 was double digit billion. So 25% portfolio allocation goes 20x on the money, crank it out 30 to 50%. Oh, that's weird. I look forward to seeing these types of things play out because this is the type of monetization I expect to occur. And I expect it to occur across the entire crypto space, such that you don't even need exposure to Aerodrome specifically at such a relatively large market cap. Because Grandpa Velodrome is running around at a 90 mil market cap, 90% less market cap. You all know it's equivalent technology. It's literally the same platform. The only reason Aerodrome still exists is because it was an aggressive fork and was fork as in they wanted to get onto base as quick as possible. So in hindsight, it makes sense. In hindsight, it should remain and likely will remain an isolated deployment. And Velodrome is literally going across the entire superchain, the entire optimistic superchain network. So from a capital management standpoint, the risk reward is skewed heavily towards Velodrome. It's 90% less market cap, and it offers exposure to literally the entire optimistic superchain network minus Aerodrome, which is the strongest expression of the optimistic superchain, but that's because of Coinbase and the arbitrage consumption. So Kraken's going to Inc., which is superchain deployment. Okay, there's plenty of opportunities. And I don't think anyone that's part of the Velodrome, Aerodrome family, so to speak, would speak um, that there is less potential for the cross superchain velodrome reality as compared to aerodrome. They both have different stories. Clearly, aerodrome is an isolated deployment. That's meaningful. That's notable. Two separate stories. Very, very interesting. Looking forward to the kingdom's deployment. Those numbers have come up very nicely. Okay. So I don't see anything negative about DeFi, especially heading to what is now a completed election. I'm seeing exactly what I expect to see, the monetization of fintech products across this crypto space. And there's to be some serious regulatory arbitrage because countries around the world are probably going to thinking about front running the US right about now. There's literally a red sweep. It's gonna be weird, ladies and gentlemen. And it's kind of like locked in. It's kind of like we know what's coming. We knew what was coming, and we've been talking on the stream for years at this point. We didn't know when. We knew vaguely in the time frame, but not exactly when. And it turns out you need a catalyst, and that catalyst happened to be literally a red sweep in the election because there's plenty of other catalysts. You could have had DXY roll over to 98. That would have been a catalyst. You could have had Move roll over to 75.80. That would have been a catalyst. Um, you could have had, bonds strengthen like 10 to 30 year Treasury long end strengthen. Instead, they're absolutely weakening. So this is quite unsettling in some regards. And the weakness of the yen is also unsettling. there could have been catalysts from a macroeconomic perspective. Uh, so I find it fascinating that the catalyst is the red sweep, which is very consistent with continued concentration of capital, continued player versus player market functionality, where you don't have a significant increase in currency supply. How do I know that? I mean, the US literally, this is easy to get biased in this chart, but if you zoom in, you could unbias yourself. So the US has reduced the amount of base money in circulation. Can I fix here? Let's move this closer. Oh, now we can zoom in. The US has reduced the amount of base money in circulation 5.32% since February of this year. A 5% reduction in the amount of currency in circulation, base currency units. That's meaningful. And in the last month, it's down, I think, a percent. If you go over to monthly, September. So since August, yeah, check it out. There's the August peak. Yeah, we're down 1.47% in money supply since August of this year. And we're rallying. The crypto is rallying. The crypto space is rallying into tightening monetary conditions, less currency supply. And the bond market is tightening. People aren't borrowing because mortgage rates literally just went back up to highs. The banks have a little bit of pressure relief. That's about it. They have their own shit show to deal with commercial real estate. So these are very tight liquidity conditions. Or I mean, just not flush currency supply conditions. That is really the heart of a bull market. Let's look at. Do I not have it? Don't have it up. What is it? The Chicago Fed's. Anyway, I mean, it's literally up only. Currency supply, cryptocurrency supply. So what is really holding up markets from a macroeconomic standpoint? It's kind of Japanese stimulus, so to speak. And you can see that right here. As this goes up, the yen is weakening, which is basically pushing money into the system. Anywho, so this is just a very interesting sequence of events heading out of the election. I think we're going to continue to head in a favorable direction. And this is Q4 of 2024. I think we start to see upward appreciation and monetization of these crypto markets. Um, Meme coins are going to absolutely go nuts. They always do. And if you want to play fast trigger, if you want to play duck hunt, and you want to whack a mole, and you want to grab your SPX 6900, okay. I mean, it's at $1 billion market cap, so it goes to 2 billion. You double your money. All right, fine. If you have that kind of balls and you're going with $100,000 position, you double your money. That'd be a hell of a double of money on a meme coin. Frankly, I think Aerodrome would be a better buy for something like that. All right, a bill to 2 bill on Aerodrome would be like, all right, it's a freaking uh, uh, arbitrage engine for Coinbase. And to top it all off, you're going to get 30 to 50% on your money. You double your money and you get 30 to 50%. Okay, cool. To me, that sounds like such a better deal than doubling your money on a meme coin where you literally have to get out and now you have nothing. You own nothing. Now you still have to figure out what to buy yet again. Whereas a fintech product that pays you, yeah, that's a whole different consideration. Anyway, let's do some comments. Let's go back to the charts. Bitcoin was up at 77, 76 and change. Pull back a little bit. Let's see where it pulls back to because this is all discovery zone. You're basically probably wanting to see a retest of 73,790. If you go into like the 4 hour, yeah, you can see something like this. You want to see this maybe bounce back down and maybe down to an MA, a little bit below it, or a time weighted average price, and then you get the higher high. And then you really have a trifecta of bullish confluence. You don't really have too much confidence until you have multiple degrees of confluence. That always helps. Bitcoin dominance was above 60, and that is a heck of a move down in dominance. What the fuck? Yeah, that's a candle. I think I'm gonna have to post a chart of that because we were above 60, 60.4. Nope, up at 61. You zoom out a bit, watch what happens. There's your rising wedge. There's your, let's put on logarithmic. There's your lower highs, but now here's your break of that trend. So it's kind of a trifecta of bearish confluence suggesting this should be the top, and we're just overextended because you got the 100, you got the trend line, and you got the rising wedge. So this should fall back down. And this is an aberration to the upside, having struck the line of resistance multiple times thus far. I get a kick out of that candle though. Jeepers. If anything, that's a reversal candle. But look, that is right into the 100 on the 4 hour. Moving averages on a dominance chart. I don't know. I don't know. I say that all the time. But that's a hell of a candle. Okay, something to keep an eye on. Love that Ave chart. Jeez, hell of a chart. Because this is like 2 days. 125 to 189. That was a complete repricing. Crypto Condom got that completely right. Oof, absolutely incredible. Um, okay, let's do some commentary. Let's do it. Critical mass here. I missed the boat, guys. I fucked up. No, no, no. We've been doing this for years. There's no missing anything. I mean, I still have to unlock it next week, and I don't have anything, and that's. I mean, technically, considering the capital is unlocking, I think I'm like 40% stables, and I don't consider myself missing anything. Okay, what you need is a healthy portfolio, and you need to know that you've worked on it for years and that you have plenty of exposure. And things are going to reflate. Things have deflated, and all this shit just cycles over and over again, driving people mad. And all the deflated stuff you own is in diversified, or offers you diversified exposure to all the stuff we talked about over the years. Just because it's deflated doesn't mean have less exposure. It'll reflate and it will monetize to various levels because this space is begging to be monetized because of regulatory arbitrage considerations. I mean, Aave is literally a bank. It's literally a money market. Oh my God. I'm just, how can I digress and be like, the CDPs, they're literally banking products, printing dollar liabilities akin to euro dollars. And we're like, oh, this will be okay. It'll be a bull market. I got to get out of time. No, this shit is going to monetize like a bank in a third world country turning second, turning first world because it's a new market accessible to the world. You know the story. Accessible to everyone, but accessible to all nations, but of no nation. Anywho, don't fret. Don't worry. Arrow, oh wow. A nighttime stream, yes. All right. I had to get something out. I have a lot of work I have to do. I have some big stuff I need to finish early next week at the office, so I don't free time. It's all good, Arrow. It'll be recorded as always, and it'll be here. And I'm always around. You know the deal. Congratulations to everyone, Arrow, myself, and everyone else for making it, surviving, because that's all you ever have to do. And that's uh, um, not about selling or it's about buying the right things, not just holding, hodling, so to speak. About buying the right things that you have a good rationale why they're going to monetize in the future. Because if any fintech is going to monetize in the future, it's going to monetize more than Bitcoin at this point. 30% CAGR, you're talking just X's between now and 2030. 10x? 10x, all right, 20x? Okay. Fintech monetizes significantly more than 20x, especially when you have a $700 trillion derivatives market, 270 plus $1 trillion of global liquidity, Mike Howell, some 34, $35 trillion worth of US debt that's used to literally print dollar liabilities into the system around the world. Okay, yeah, fintech will outperform 20x. Oh, that's okay. That's cool. That's cool. Have your Bitcoin exposure, but the fintech exposure is going to do much better into 2030. Anyway, I digress. I digress. Teddy Rose, I might not be thrilled about Trump, but I am glad it was decisive and there was no ensuing chaos. Happy for crypto as a whole. Well, I keep my political opinions to myself. So, what could I say that doesn't potentially jeopardize my neutrality or my position as the captain of rationality? I don't like any of these motherfuckers. You know, I don't like any of these motherfuckers. You hear any pollster or any commentator on social media or mainstream media say, "Oh, you're running for president. You're going to print $120 billion a month for the future every single month." Why couldn't anyone ask that question? Why couldn't anyone ask that question? They're literally going to print $120 billion a month perpetuity. That's the run rate. I don't get it. I don't like any of them. Eh, I voted. I don't have to like these people. You know what I always remind myself of? I don't know these people. That I don't ask them questions. I'm not voting because of how people look or their tone of their voice or their gender. I got two daughters. I love girls. Every guy loves girls. Trump business guy. Okay, cool. Oh, he talks with his hands. I talk with my hands too. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know them. Look, I'm talking politics and I'm trying to remain neutral on it. I find that fascinating though. Like literally people cry over this stuff and I'm like, did you know the person? Do you know the person? Try and contemplate the emotions over these things because it doesn't matter who the president is because the president is basically signing shit from Congress, and Congress answers to the people, and Congress also answers to the system, state, so to speak. Some call it the deep state, but it's basically the state mechanism, powers that be. So it doesn't really matter. That was my whole premise. And that's why you're heading into the election. It's like, does it really matter who's going to win? And then crypto's going to respond to $120 billion a month in printing. That's why the macro was always more important to me over the last couple of years. Because it's like what Raul talks about. It's like, this is where it's heading, no matter what anyone thinks, or no matter what anyone's opinion is, or no matter who the president is. It changes nothing. And now you're here. You're here at the point that we've talked about for years that couldn't be changed, that was destiny of sorts. So y'all should not be surprised that we're here. So I think this digression started with congratulations. So congratulations, you made it. Arrow, how satisfied are you with Aladdin DAO allocation concentrator compared to just VEFXN? Well, f of x 2.0. Oh my. I don't know. I will only be able to assess much more strongly in hindsight from the future. I always say that shit. I have no idea. We were expecting most of the Aladdin product suite to get absorbed into Aladdin, ALD. Was that not supposed to be f of x as well? I don't know. In hindsight, it was a 20 chip, maybe like 18 chip that went to concentrator, and it's like it cut in half. I don't even know, maybe cut in half, 50%. FXN's depreciated as well, but at least that was a very productive. It is a very productive asset. So you know, would it have done significantly better? I don't think that would be the case. Would it have been more productive? Yes. Um, Here's the thing about the future. I might come back in 4 years, 2028, and my allocation, the concentrator, gets absorbed into, you know, um, the Aladdin product suite and gives me $2 million, 20 grand to 2 mil. It's like, what? Yeah, what's that? 100x on the money. All right. Versus FXN, which produces 2 mil, 200,000, 2 mil, 500,000. I mean, concentrator currently has a yield. Maybe it still has a yield. So in the end, life has a way of balancing things out. And I like to remind myself that the way it balances it out, it likely didn't warrant much excessive thought now. In 10 years' time, I mean, I remember I'm in my 40s. I remember investing in my 30s. 10 years' time, it almost doesn't matter what I own because the system is going to take whatever I own and just multiply it. And if it doesn't, Immortan Joe, that story. So that's it. I choose not to think too much about coulda, shoulda, wouldas. You know what I mean? Soon, Snap's cap is on in a late night. Yes, indeed. My man. Mr. Barata. Good night. Good night. What's up? How are you? Brian Bray. Any idea what Convex is working on? Yeah, probably something. But I've heard something similar to what Paladin worked on, which is rentable boost. I would hope it's something more. I don't want to speculate for better or for worse. Um, but that is what I heard. Um, I don't know. Convex at a buck 70. I remember I was like 20. When did I purchase that clip of Convex? It was like a buck 80 or something like that. Pretty sure that was it. Anywho, I currently don't opt for convex exposure. For instance, that's just me as a contrarian. Tetradode's old tale was that the cash flow from boat rentals had unlimited upside, whereas VECRV is the rat race. But I always told the story a little differently. I always said VECRV, sure, it's a rat race to a degree, but it's a race, meaning from where I sit, I could probably get diluted about 50% between now and like the next 50,000 years, considering the disinflationary emission schedule. Okay, great. So there's the basement in there. What's the potential? All right, great. 50% the basement and 10 bajillion percent upside potential for the product. All right, cool. I'm okay with that. And what do I get? Base layer. Base layer basically means I don't have to think in terms of a derivative. So base layer to me is something I would pay that premium for. A premium of paid in terms of underperformance, possibly. Simplicity is worth a premium. That's a decent statement. I will pay a premium in terms of underperformance for the sake of simplicity and to own the most fundamental layer of a business. Because with VCRV, you have exposure to the success of CDX, of FXN, of SDT, Stake DAO. Get too close to saying STD when talking about Stake DAO, and that's not good. But that's the thing with the base layer. This looks exactly like Curve. Look at that, 4 hour, 200. I mean, y'all know it's the same thing. So it's the same as the Curve Federation. We haven't used that word too much. But when this thing breaks, we've seen it break. We've seen Convex just go buck 70, 240. Boom. Someone just bought a clip. Things are highly likely to reprice just like they've done historically. We've only seen brief historical examples of this type of repricing, but I expect between now and 2026, we'll see some very interesting price movement. Look at that move indicator down to 117. Big retrace. Come on, come on, let's go. Get down here. Weird stuff starting to happen. Anywho, Basket Dad, much a pleasure. Uh, where did it go? Here, are you ready for 2025 in the Trump era? Yes, yes, I am. I hate politics. You know why? Because everyone takes it so seriously. Meanwhile, I, as the contrarian, are like, because everyone takes it so seriously, I know for a fact it's not serious. I mean, I don't think it changes anything who is president. I really just don't. Um, Except it just pisses people off. People are so emotional nowadays. Anywho, it's very unfortunate. I wish people peace. I wish people calm. I myself work very hard to be calm, cool, collected. And I can only wish that upon everyone because that is the only condition in which the best decisions are made. Calm, cool, and collected. Ah, thank you, Lake. I appreciate it. It's not cross chain, is it? It's just literally it's a different market cap. It's literally the same token. It's just to deploy. So easy to print a meme coin. My God. I don't know, but it's organic for the meme coin to actually gain traction. We've been discussing the cap meme coin for quite some time, and I'm like, I just don't give a fuck. And I don't want to participate in something like that. I certainly don't want to capitalize on that because if you capitalize on the captain's rational meme coin, not so rational, is it? So then what's the point? Like, it's the whole point of a meme coin. It is to pump it up and capitalize on, which is to a degree a rug if you overcapitalize. And if you capitalize rationally, the market is probably going to take all the returns. And because in the end, it's just who's the first to the exit. And the first to the exit's not panicking. They're the first. It's the margin call. The margin call rules of the road. Eduardo, one on mainnet, one on base, one on Solana. Yep, 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 yep. I got you. Nick Johnson, much a pleasure. Sweet late night, buddy. Yes, indeedy. Looks like it's a turnout at 9 o'clock. Fix the stream up, and not too easy to do it during the day recently. Anywho, Mr. Barada, can you tell us more about Tab relaunch? So I am a private investor, so I have access to a little bit more of what's going on, and I approve. I approved of the relaunch plan. There's always uncertainty about how they're going to recapitalize the LP with what capital is available, so on and so forth. But I approved of the relaunch plan. Now, bear in mind, the relaunch plan uh, is probably an LBP liquidity bootstrap and a mainnet launch. I think all things considered, and what they've stated, what I understand is that it's rebuild the liquidity and you're launching mainnet. It's not testnet. It's let's fucking go. So despite all the situation, I like what I heard about the relaunch details. Yes, I as well. Um, it's a relatively meaningful allocation, and then my general expectation is I think this will just be a bump in the road, and I think previous monetization of the position will reinflate really with the new token, and I think it will be one of the better components of. I think it will serve me and my family well over the coming years with a mutable design and a very productive uh, feature set that we've discussed in great detail over quite some years at this point, for better or for worse. Bascadet, Cap, what's your favorite DeFi token that is currently sitting in the gutter and microcap? They're not launched yet. So the gutter is zero and microcap, which means it's like DeFi money and cross curve. It's big shit. And literally, this is big, and they're going live soon. TGE and plenty of returns available. 156%. I wonder how they're getting that number, but it is what it is. This is such a useful protocol. I mean, you could use Stargate all you want, but that's why I have a section called bridges. I mean, you literally have cross curve here from the garden. You can get Bitcoin, native Bitcoin. Here's Thor swap, threshold, TBTC, cross protocol, layer swap, Stargate, of course. Crypto Rubik is protocol. I just closed it. I gotta reopen it. And this uses keys for liquidity. And it's integrated into Phantom as the home base for that liquidity. So it's not even live yet. So I chose because you can't have everything. I tell my kids, you get what you get and you don't get upset. So I had to choose between how I feel about cross chain liquidity and cross curve because this is awesome. And I would only hope to be on the leaderboard and have tremendous exposure to cross curve, especially with Sonic coming online. I wish I did, but I don't. This guy, I think I'm doing it well. This guy, I got so many points accumulating. I wonder. I wonder because I know um, it's weighted towards the epoch. So I'm just curious how much points. If there is no leaderboard, I wish there was to get a relative ranking. Because if needed to deploy more capital to be a little bit more competitive, I would. But I don't know. But it's just a lot of points that are racking up, especially with my VE curve exposure. And that was last week. It was 1.4 mil just in VE curve. So between the two, that was literally 2.3 mil points in 3 days in one epoch. So maybe I'll scrounge up some more money, or I don't know. But I absolutely love this protocol for the simplicity of the dollar, and that's what I kind of was hinting at here. So S curve USD and S money slap on a gauge. So you slap on a curve gauge, and then when these guys do their capital raise, if this is a derivative of CRV-USD, what do they have up their sleeve with regard to a capital raise and the token and the tokenomics? Maybe they didn't go VE. Maybe they have a derivative of VE33. Speculating right there. So maybe they have a gauge system or an incentive system. I mean, they kind of hinted at that on Discord. Speculating, speculating. But dollars are the biggest goddamn business on the planet. So for better or for worse, I this thing could potentially be insane. And there's a lot of dollar products out there, but this is soft liquidation and this is peg keepers. That's enough for me. Because the only thing that comes close curve built is clearly Frac and its AMOs. And by the way, Sam is on X talking about Frax. He's got me all amped up. Just big talk about what his sentiment is regarding his product and product suite. And I get excited about that stuff because I have a high opinion of Frax. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like I say a lot of Biden quotes. That's the thing. Hear me out. I'm just saying. I'm sorry if maybe I am getting old, but let's just say just because price go down doesn't mean I get any less excited about a protocol. I get disappointed of the price going down. The price goes down basically means a large part of the population just doesn't appreciate it. But what it takes to change your whole financial future is to one, buy cheap and to buy something that everyone else is missing, that everyone else, damn. So if your portfolio is worth less than it was, all right, you paid a premium. Doesn't mean you were wrong in your allocation. Just means you bought at the wrong price. Hope that helps. Cab showing an interest in memes in this environment? No, no, no. I take it back. I take it back. I didn't. I was just looking. I was just looking. Okay, because there's always a trend. There's always a pattern. Oh, you get a triangle compression and an ascending triangle or a falling wedge. I don't know, or a level, and you're about to flip resistance into support. I don't know. Memes are some dumb shit and a great way to capitalize and take money from other people. PvP. All right. just close your eyes and don't look at that part of the stream. I agree that things like Arrow are much more intriguing, but it seems like a few of these new age religion cults are digestible for the majority. Yeah, the brain rot shit, the skibbity. Oh my god, that's big stuff. All this shit on Solana. It's very big culture. It's big stuff. This is what Raul talks about. Like, I'm the oldest of the millennials, and I just barely got away with right time, right place for housing. And the next generation was Gen Z, and then Alpha is just a bunch of kids. But Gen Z has literally zero chance in the U.S. Obviously, they got like 0% chance. You're not getting anything. So okay, so it's understandable. But the Gen Alpha is even weirder because these kids are being raised by millennials, of which the vast majority of millennials are kind of impoverished and forgotten. Well, that's until the baby boomers transfer. How many? What was it, like $30 trillion to the millennials? All right, I don't know. This whole shit, this is gonna get so weird. Between all that capital transfer to the millennials and what's going on with Gen Alpha and brain rot, oh my god. I mean, we're literally turning into idiocracy. Have you ever seen this movie? You haven't seen this movie. I mean, we're all gonna start getting college diplomas at Costco. I mean, this movie is literally what it's idiocracy. Come on, that's a classic. That's a classic. Anywho, good observations, Adam. Any particular forks you'd be interested in seeing on base other than just compound? Yeah, it's not a fork, but look, DeFi money's on base. It's just not really. It's not consumed at all. You need the incentive system. Once you throw around the percentage signs drive behavior. Right now, it's literally, I'm the only person borrowing. Wow, I'm 154% over collateralized. Can I borrow $1,000 because of how much Ethereum has ripped up? Yeah, borrow. No, I'm not doing that. I over collateralize. I don't have a problem borrowing money, but I over collateralize. I take no chance of liquidation. That's actually a pretty decent number, 2,100. You would literally need a 30% collapse in the value of Ethereum um, to just enter the liquidation bands. Because these are bands of liquid these, and then you get deliquidated because this is a curved soft liquidation mechanic. Anywho, but yeah, Aave's already on base, but look at Moonwell has much more consumption than Aave. So base and base is literally just being used by Coinbase, in my opinion, based on what I see in dollar and protocols that are have dollars deployed. Um, I'm interested in the V33 on Solana, maybe. I'd be more interested. You know what I'm probably really interested in? I'm interested in what the hell plays out with Velodrome and Ink. Kraken is doing the same thing that Coinbase did with Base. Kraken's basically going to move all their shit on chain and save a fortune. Ink is an optimistic super chain. It's all on X. They announced this some days ago. So Velodrome's going to deploy. If Velodrome deploys to Ink, which is going to manage Kraken the way Coinbase manages Base. That's basically going to do the same multiples that Base does and catch the same volume. So all of a sudden, you didn't need to crowd into a $1 billion market cap On base, you have 100 mil market cap on all the optimistic super chains, not just base. Okay. So the biggest learning lesson is to think in terms of exposure. And if you could get free exposure, that is valuable. So in hindsight, probably my mistakes were deployment to Denial and Cleopatra, and I should have owned Ramses prior to the free exposure offered on Linnea and Mantle. Think in terms of free exposure, which is why I have the Velodrome position, because it will offer free exposure. That's why I have the large Ramses position. It will offer free exposure going forward. And I sure as hell fucked that one up on scroll because I didn't lock as aggressively as I should have. So I basically lock that thing every week at this point because I am not messing that one up again. Mix, late night with the cap. Yeah, I like this better. I like this better. Give it some thought. Adam, would you say it's all but guaranteed that Republicans also win the House? Yes, so they already win. They already control the House. So Republicans, the House is the midterm elections, unless I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure this is the way it works. I'm no political. I'm not astute at politics, but I believe the Republicans have just swept the Senate and clearly the presidency, and they control the House for the next 2 years. So for the next 2 years, 2025 and 2026, it is Republicans across the entire United States political spectrum, which is rare. Not just Republicans, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, the whole party controls the government, which means shit actually gets done. Okay? Okay. Um, mixed. Abe did what? Abe is deployed to base. Abe was forked by Donald Trump's organization, or whatever the hell they've made. I don't know. I'm excited for it though. Abe's a hell, man. It's gonna be crazy. $10,000 position in Abe. Little nominal position. Here, it's over here, and it's locked. I lock everything because I am a sick person. I am sick in the head. I have it in the dollars section here, and I have it in the stake. And I bought that for like $4,900. It's literally double the price. That's crazy. 51 Ave. 10 grand. I mean, so, crypto condoms running around with seven figs of this because Ave, I mean, I talk like Moonboy numbers, but it's not really Moonboy because it's $2 billion. It's 3 billion. Let's say $3 billion. How much kid out in need today? The big corporations, the big banks are worth 300 bill. That's 100x. All right, fine, 150 bill. Those are your big banks. Those are your big Wall Street banks. 150 bill. Okay, that's a 50x of the money. It's not impossible. In fact, the 50x is all right. Check back in 2032, 150 bill on par with some of the banks. All right, great. This is a freaking bank. We've already discussed very clearly that Aave is a bank. So crypto condom with seven figures of this is going to be like a billionaire or something. Well, with 50x, if we run around with like whatever. A lot of forward, a lot of speculative words I'm stating, but the point is, a 10 grand position running 50x. All right, cool. That's a big deal, especially if it's cranking out 10% of the money, 15% of the money, 50 grand, 75 grand a year. off a 10 grand position. So literally the position is producing 5x to 7.5x per year in cash flow. But that's where all this shit's heading and like 2028, 2032. Just gotta look a couple of cycles ahead to really get much more meaningful picture. Like I'm not preaching, but I appreciate it. I hope what I say helps. I hope it offers a rational perspective on this insane shit that people do. Yeah, advisor. Good morning, my friend. How are you? How are you? Well, they have to monetize the liquidity pool, so they have to bootstrap it. That is my expectation. Just how else do you deploy capital? I don't know. I expect there to be bumps, but I expect whatever they choose to do to be as best possible. And frankly, I support Matt. And I talk to Ben, and me and Ben do exit liquidity. So, and I'm an investor. It's like hair club for men, and I'm a user of the product. That shows my age. That shit is so old. Something like that. I don't know the entirety, and when they will be showing this proposal to the public prior to anything being done. So I'm just speaking from what may occur. And how do you get back to square one? I thought a concept. Hi, Noah. Yes, that's my man. You okay? You opened the stream with you made some boo boos. Gonna be okay. Let me know if you need anything. Mix. Don't watch this part. Just don't watch the. I didn't talk about meme coins. Don't watch that part of the stream. Yeah, right. Isn't idiocracy a foreshadowing of Lendwell? Yep. Professor J, late night with the cab. Yes, indeed. Much a pleasure. 2030 cycle building show. Yeah, this you gotta be prepared. Everything I'm thinking about right now is literally 2028. Like the second I was literally thinking about the 2028 election today. I'm like, I'm gonna have such a different strategy heading into like 27 and 28. I mean, Buffett is sitting on so much damn cash. I mean, it gives him a choice. It gives him such an option, but just and you only know in hindsight because just patient as fuck. And you know what I think it is? I don't think he gives a shit if he misses an opportunity. I think there's some couple of guiding principles why he's sitting on cash. Like the whole S&P is about probably rip into the melt up, and then you get a substantial collapse. Something breaks. Commercial real estate completely takes out something in 27 or whatever, 26, 27. So Buffett's got to be like, I don't give a shit if I miss out. What I care about is a hostile takeover. I just want to buy an entire company because everyone else out there, dumb and shit, sold it. Meanwhile, the company is cash flow positive and it's doing great business. I've just, I think that's Buffett. That's just my 2 cents. Because why else would you be sitting on such cash? I mean, he's also making 5% on it, probably 5% on what, $320 billion, which is like $17 billion a year for just doing nothing. So there's a couple of interesting thoughts about that, and I try and apply those types of thought experiments to how I do things. Anyhow, glad to catch the tail end of Cap After Dark. We'll have to watch recording later on. Thanks for all you do. Much a pleasure. I hope it helps everyone because I sure as hell don't have the answers. All I have is this rational conversation. That's all I could ever offer. Mixed, much pleasure. DA advisor, Velo going to be meaningful on Inkjet. Has to be. I mean, the whole conversation of Velodrome for quite some time is the super chain. In fact, seamless super chain, seamless cross super chain. Um, so of course, Ink chain. That is a very, very obvious extension of all currently ongoing conversation. Velodrome, there's little argument why Velodrome wouldn't be on Ink chain. It's literally that's it. It's baked in the cake at this point, in my opinion. I Velodrome could be very big. It could be just as big as Aerodrome, and frankly, the kingdoms as well. Uh, V3 could be very interesting. V3, I could bring all the kingdoms together some way, somehow. I don't know, but it makes sense for the Ramses exposure. And frankly, the Ramses exposure was decent exposure this week. So this was last week. It was like $70 from Frax. This is just some trailing emission. So basically, it was like $445 for the week, which is not bad. $45 is yeah, 445. So 445 times 4 uh times 12 is 21, and so it's divided by so it's 118% APR. $445 per week is 118% APR. Now, that's relative to my basis. So if we go over here, I do RAM, let's see where we're at. 11 cents. I don't even remember where my entry was anymore. I think my entry was at 1.8 cents. So interestingly enough, my entry was probably at the 1.8 cents, if I remember correctly. And we're at 1.1 cents, 1.1 penny, 1.1. But we have the rebasing component, so the principal position is all right, is decent. And relative to basis, it's paying 118%. So that's why I've talked for so much in terms of purchasing a position. I can't sell it, and it's cranking out 118% of the money. Does it matter what the value of the principal is if you can't sell it? I don't know. These are some very, very deep philosophical questions in some regards. No, it is not to my knowledge. That's going to take some time. But that was just talked about, I believe, late last week. He can afford to buy. Who who can? I mean, I can afford to buy some things, but I'm very restricted right now. I'm not buying much. Um, I like the cash right now. Like what I really want is check it out. This is what I really want. I want a beefy LP. So here's the beef. Here's the LPs on Fractal. Let's see what they're cranking out. But like, look at this, 24%. I just want a fat stablecoin position, cranking out 24% of the money in an auto compounding LP. Really, all I want. 30%. 30% does your CAGR. compared to Bitcoin. If you could get a 30% CAGR, and to top it all off, if you could get a 30% CAGR, you're talking about Stan Druckenmiller, and he's one of the best of the best. So what's your CAGR? Calculate your CAGR. We talked about this last year. Mr. Barada, sorry, Kappa, just one more about TAP. I'm not so early, but I'm in since the LPP airdrop, and I support Matt and team as well. Yeah, he made a boo-boo, Rectora. That's a big boo-boo. Uh, it's kind of like the nice guy that kind of really fucked up and did something really bad. That's a big boo-boo. So yeah, we're here. I'm here. I'm not too. I don't get too emotional about these things like politics and a loss of capital, a breach, a hack. I'm not too emotional about these things. As I've gotten older, it's like things happen, shit happens. And, okay, what's next? I'm not too interested in what's going on. I'm interested more so in what's next and what's coming. And can I do anything different? Can I make a change or a difference in how things play out? That's what I'm much more interested in. So I'm with you, Mr. Barada. We'll see how it goes. Do you think we'll have the relaunch until the end of this year? I don't know. I have no expectation of timeline, but I have a high expectation that when they start to figure out the LP and they start to recapitalize the liquidity pool, mainnet. We're going right to mainnet, and based on the test net, I'm excited because we literally just got done going through test net iterations. That's a hell of a test net. I very much look forward to seeing the main red release. I think it's going to be very popular. That's my opinion. Yes, indeed. Yeah, advisor. No, 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 no. Frankly, as I get older, I feel more burnt out than um. But thank you for the kind words. I don't I don't think I am. I think I just hope I help. I hope I'm rational in what I talk about and reasonable and logical. And I don't know that I always am, but I hope I am. And that's why I do these streams because maybe I do it to try and hope that I keep my mind sharp so I could continue to navigate these markets. You need a sharp mind to peer through all the bullshit of these markets. Anyhow, thank you, my friend. Uh, was talking about Buffett standing by. Oh my God, that boy's got cash. He's got cash. This is making 5%. He's making $17 billion a year sitting in cash. I want a cash position. I want some beefy cash. Look at these Frax bonds making 23% of the money. Okay. Okay, I see you. I see you, Fraxel. I see you, stable coins. I see you, Pendle, making 583%. I see you, Pancake Swap, 192%. I see you, stable coins. I don't give a crap about the denomination. A dollar's a dollar. Just got to make sure it's on a Lindy time tested, mother approved protocol that has some reputation. Like, I don't know about lore, but all right, maybe. But clearly, like USDT and BUSD on Pancake. Well, BUSD. And that they take back all the liquidity. All right, maybe not there. All right, look, Uniswap, USDC die 57%. Holy crap! I'm cool with that. Albeit DAI is getting converted to USDS, but I don't think that matters much. I think that's 57%. That's a lot of percent for stablecoins. There you go, Frax. Frax USDT. Now that's a pair because Frax is just they own the LP, they own the liquidity. Frax has the high opinion that I have of it, and they dominate Frax. They own the price point of Frax. So that's a strong LP. Because USDT, I have a high opinion of USDT. 40%. Captain's going to get some yield on some stables over the next 2 years. um, Tsunami. What is it? As compared to Conic? Isn't that wasn't that the comparison? Um, that's cool. You need the what is it? The liquidity? The cross liquidity. Tsunami. Or is that? Am I thinking of the wrong product? I think I am thinking of the right product, and they made derivatives. Yeah, 8.77%. Oh wow. Huh, that's a lot of percent. Projected 24? It's a nice protocol. Ah, huh. Stables, stables, 12.7%. Okay, okay. Here's the thing, Llamaland. Maybe I skip the derivative products, the beefy, and I go boom right to Llamaland, and I just stick with the base layer. Go here. So you go to lend, and it's like, cool. Let's see what the rates are. Here's your base layer. People are paying. Nice, maybe getting some boost. Oh, this is cool. Look at that. 50x leverage on S dollar. That's cool. 18%. And if you boost it, if I vote on it, because I could vote on this stuff, but all right, maybe. I don't think I max boost is weird. You need a huge amount of EE nowadays to max boost. That's some big look at that 20 UWU. All right, so maybe a derivative. Maybe you go back to beefy and you go back to mainnet and uh, is it why wouldn't Llamaland be in here? All right, maybe they don't have anything. But as we just saw, Tsunami has exposure there. Maybe. I don't know. It was just a thought. But that's a good name drop. Appreciate it. So there was a proposal approved or something. Yep. As we just looked it over, you sharing your thoughts and thought processes is extremely useful. I hope so. I really do. Mr. Barada, I'm really excited with the mainnet on tap two. I feel okay about this thing as well. Many thanks. You're very welcome. Uh, I was pretty sure I was like the second person to invest in tapioca. It's been years for me. So you know, I've just gotten numb to all this shit. It is what it is. Should learn how to extract more of your knowledge and act upon it. Yeah. Well, you're speaking from yourself. I wish I could. I wish at some point I could maybe monetize a little bit. I don't know. Discord monetizes a little bit, but just one day I would like to not have a day job and do this type of content and not hustle as much as I've done with my software engineering career. A little tired. Maybe I shouldn't be complaining. I complain too much. Y'all better catch me and make sure I don't complain too much as I get older. I don't want to be no cranky old motherfucker. So you gotta tell me, Captain, you're complaining too much. Shape up, okay? Sir, how are you not joining the FXN Community Booster Program? It's endless stuff, endless stuff. I don't have enough money for endless stuff. No, I don't know. Maybe. I do, but so maybe I was it like a grant, an FXN grant? Yeah, I have no problem encouraging participation in F of X protocol, especially with V2, very exciting. I have no hesitation to encourage people to interact with it, research it, use it. So that may be interesting. And I very rarely have a capacity to quote unquote chill without hesitation. That's very rare. Good. I remember I pinged Michael maybe like I don't know 2 years ago at this point. I'm like, yo, could you sponsor this stream? And Michael Igorov. And he said he didn't want to. He wanted to remain neutral from a curve perspective. So I appreciated that. So I never got a sponsor. But that was it. I have a private message inbox on X filled with bullshit after bullshit after bullshit, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't do it. But I got no hesitation whatsoever for Curve and whole Curve Federation. It's just one of the most meaningful products, not just in the crypto space. It's a very important product because you know what it does? Fucks over the banks. The stupid banks that are blood sucking ticks and leeches on society. The goddamn banks. Woo! Sorry, I got angry because this software gets rid of the banks. It bypasses. And to me, that's such a big thing. I got no problem supporting it. Anywho, ref links. Listen, I got 20,000 people that follow me on X, and I threw up the ref links to DeFi money. Not one person, not one person. Can you who follows me on X? I had 20,000 people that literally follow me, and not one person used the ref link. So in that regard, no ref links. Ref links, no, no. They don't do anything. At least for my type of content and my type of followers. Yeah, Omni something, did you? Yes, and Tsunami, sure. Tsunami's been around on my Discord. Folks have mentioned it. It's on the radar. Where did I put it? Tsunami. Let's clean this up a little bit. I got too much shit going on. Tsunami. Let's close this. I got too much stuff. And let's move Tsunami back over here next to Beefy. Yeah, I want to keep an eye on Tsunami. Very nice, clean interface. Dark mode. Maybe that's why I like this so much, this DeFi money. Because not only do they have light and dark mode, but they have this on hyper mode. So I like that. It's just such a lovely, simple user interface. It's like I have uh, what do I have? I have, let's say I have 168 Velo on Optimism, and I want to take a high risk, and I'm going to borrow $9, and I'll be at 32. This is so lovely. Look at this. It's like approved mint, and there's your dollars. And then you go. So let's say this is on Velodrome, but if you go over to Arbitrum, I don't really have anything. But the point is, Max can't even borrow anything. But the point is, then you go over here, and then you go over to Swap. Is money in Swap yet? Yay, money! So I got money on Swap, and I literally I'm borrowing money on Arbitrum. Boom, borrow it, and now you go over to Swap, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna take that money. I'm gonna buy something. This is just a lovely user interface for a CDP credit protocol. Very, very simple. Anyhow. Another reason to build for next cycle. Yeah, this is all prep for next cycle. That's all you should really be thinking about. You should have been already prepared for this cycle. So what you're doing now is anything you have to keep in mind to prepare for next cycle, which basically means you want to account for the downtrend and sometime at the end of next year, 26, 27. And then guess what comes in 28? Another presidential election and more promises and $200 billion a month. Everyone gets $200 billion a month. The government's going to hire Oprah, and Oprah's going to be like, "You get 200 billion. You get 200 billion." What do you think about the proposal on Curve SCRVUSD? I think it already got approved. I think that's yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about. Oh, my man, SCRVUSD and S money with a gauge and the TGE where DeFi money is going to do their capital raise. And what kind of tokenomics do they have in play? Do they have gauge system? I think SCRVUSD and S money are going to be very interesting to the point where I basically tied up all my capital, whatever free capital I have, here just to get points. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get all the points. I mean, I just literally threw some cash on each one of the LPs across the chains and borrowed against collateral. I don't know if this is the maximum amount of points, but I figured additionally with my VE curve exposure, like I'm going to get as many points as I possibly can. And I think I speculate that this is going to be interesting exposure. Anywho, I did talk about it a little earlier, my friend. Sell you some. Ah, no, no T shares. There shall be no T shares here, my man. I mean, Hex is back on the menu, isn't it? Because it's that kind of season. The pulse chain folks are really very excited. I don't know what's going to play out with that stuff, but I have no interest. Sir, it's not your paying money; it's you earning FXN. Yes, as a partner. I appreciate that. Um, I will. I will talk to KMETs if. And I also gotta see what kind of time I have, my friend. I appreciate it though. You can get a sponsor 100% if you decide to. Oh, sponsor the show. I don't mind. I'll talk to K-Mets. I have channels with him. I talk to him. You and Curve Cap are the best Curve content creators and ambassadors. Well, he's the captain of Curve, and I'm just the captain of Rationality. So it's a good combination, the two of us. It's literally Curve is the most hated protocol in the space, and Michael literally capitalized and exited in a quite a reasonable way. It probably wasn't optimal. I don't think he intended to get liquidated because he was just running Delta neutral to fund operations, and that's why we had to get DAO vote to have an allocation for funding. But that's what his loans were. It was all Delta neutral to generate revenue for funding purposes. So that was all unfortunate how things played out. And yes, he capitalized. I found the protocol. I'm going to capitalize the shit out of that protocol. I'm going to make some money because I founded a freaking protocol. Everyone's got all their biases in the world. Um, in the end, yes, the price of Curve is depreciated, but Michael's physics experience and his programming capacity is there's nothing like it in these crypto markets. Anyhow, not one person yet. Oh, I might have to ping K-Mets. X numbers are like unit price or market cap. I think I understand what you're referring to. Buffett should be sponsoring the. I wouldn't mind a sponsor. I don't really know how to do any of that shit. If any big brands like my content, I'm open to sponsors, but I'm very picky and I really must honestly like what you're offering from a fintech product perspective. it must genuinely be something significant as I see it. Otherwise, it's not something I could ever even mention. Like obviously, I talk about, excuse me, the things that I own because one, I own them, which means I own them for a reason. These are the only things that I see meaningful to own um, out of the entire crypto space. Jordan, do you have any thoughts on the Shezmoo platform? I have never heard of it, and I'm not going to dig in too much towards the end of the stream, but I will take a look real quick if there's anything. There's no market cap. It's worth a mill. Um, okay, credit. I like credit. I like dollars. Okay. Get book. CDP. I mean, this is the type of stuff. Got to look into the team. Do they do a cap raise? This the get book's a little light. Um, got to look into Discord and see who's contributing, how many commits there are, size of the team. Is any of the code comparable to other code? Is it forked? Is it borrowed code? Because obviously we've seen plenty of copying of Michael's curve code, and that does not work out historically well. Cross-chain swaps, denial? Huh, close, Nile, swap, cross-chain. Is this, did they talk about this Nile? Desmo? I don't know. What is this? Is it their product called the Nile? So I don't know what it is. Now I'm often late. I do not rush into anything. Let's go here. Um, let's go here. Okay. Huh. Hmm. Who are they? Oh, hybrid doesn't mean much. I need some more data. Get books light. This is there's an exploit. It's interesting. And that was September, which means they're migrating. That's why they're talking about the LP, impacted LPs. And it's a mill market cap with an exploit under its belt. I mean, that's we got to say that off the bat. That's a difficult position. I mean, how much bad debt is there? Like, is the let's go back here. Which should I say website? Let's see. We need uh we need Discord. We need the history here. We need the history. Beefy vaults. Okay. I'm not gonna dig in anymore, but that was a lot. There's maybe I don't have many thoughts. Look, literally, it took me 3 months to recognize DeFi money. And for me, when I find something that really clicks, it's just becomes obvious. And sometimes it takes a fair amount of time for my old brain to wrap my head around something. Like I should have caught this sooner. I missed a lot of epochs, and I got involved basically in epoch 36. It was like 3 months. I was late to DeFi money. Now I'm like, oh shit, damn V. And now it all makes sense. It's all clicking. Anywho, earning DeFi money points, but missed the ref. Oh yeah, well, I appreciate that. It's okay. I, my man, what do, you're part of the crew. There's a very small crew of people whose like names I know. There's 20,000 people that follow me. I don't know anyone's name. You see what I'm saying there? It's like, why don't I have like 3,000, 1,000 people using the ref link? That's 5%. I don't know. I don't know. What do people follow me for? I don't know. Fluid's a big deal. Fluid is on my I want to make some cash tabs. USDC 24%. I consider it. Fluid has a different risk exposure as compared to Aave, but I do consider it. Food for thought. So that they had some very impressive stats. Yeah, they do. Fluid is InstaD app, and I probably have that here too. Nope, I don't have it open, but do have Fluid. But InstaD app's a great product. And INSD, is that the ticker? INSD? InstaD. Huh. INS, INST, 1.35 mil. And there's your Fluid response. Freaking massive rip to the upside. 150% of Fluid. Heck of a product. What kind of a timeline do you anticipate the bull cycle of the market has in 2025? All year, just part. Oh, one, my brain is running out of steam, but I'm going to try my best to answer this question. It needs to be answered in macro terms. I don't I don't speculate on timeline. I respond to exactly what the market tells me. And the market tells me at some point they need to crush them for a period of time. They need to let the system expand for a period of time. How are they going to run around with the system this tight, with the treasury market dysfunctioning like this for so long? So until we see this thing blow, get down here, something weekly, eh, yeah, something like that. You got to break down. You got to break down meaningfully. And you're talking about months down there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then you'll see the spike. Something's breaking. You'll see the spike from the bottom, just like you see here, just like all of the spikes. Until we see that, this cycle hasn't started. The m- the meat of the cycle, the exciting part of the cycle. That's just it. And the dollar has to come down. I mean, literally, JD Vance was grilling um, Powell about can you repatriate supply chain without weakening the dollar. He understands that in order to do a lot of the foreign policy we need to do, and also the domestic policy, reshore supply chain, you got to weaken the dollar. The dollar's too strong. So dollar down, bond volatility, move down. And until that happens, you're not getting to the end game of the cycle. 'Cause the end game of the cycle is move blowing out, the bond market blowing up. It's the way it always ends. So I stick to that. I stick to that as us telling, or that's how the market will tell us where we are in the cycle. My man. In my opinion, Mitch bought the mansions knowing he will tokenize it RAAC. he bought some nice property in Australia. I mean, millions of dollars. Okay, probably tokenized. That's probably why he was like, oh, RAAC. I don't know. I would have done all the shit that he did. I ain't hating. I got a feeling most people are hating. Don't be hating. Something like that. I can talk to the Aladdin team about adding you in the community booster program, sir. They're actually very, very happy to do it. Oh, sure. Talk to them. I'm here. You guys know where I am. Someone ping me from somewhere if someone has any interest. I'm more than happy to talk about talking points. I go over the website. I throw up some branding. That's all good. I represent that and Dow. Curve ecosystem. Curve federation. It's the federation. I love that shit. I'm federated. You too. Okay. No, no, that was yes, both. Okay. Honestly, why is Curve and DeFi broadly so hidden in the space? Because it's complicated. It's sophisticated. It's not easy. If crypto isn't about decentralized finance, then it seems to be about very little. So crypto is about permissionlessness. So obviously that offers decentralized finance, but that's a sophisticated program. Back in 2016, we had ICOs, just Ethereum. Not even it wasn't even that. You also had, UTXO, uh, QT wallet, and just like literally, baked in Damon, Bitcoin forks, and it was meme coins. It wasn't even ICOs meme coins. It was literally just Bitcoin meme coins back in the day. So that's permissionless. A big part of crypto is permissionless. Anyone can do anything they want. Back in 2020 and 2021, it was shown that you could do some serious financial technology, fintech, in these permissionless systems. That's new. That changes everything. That is different than 2019. That is different than 16 and 17. That is a whole new category that the people that love meme coins don't understand. It's banking, and that's like real investing, like real grown up investing, old people investing. And old people have the money. The kids don't have the money. The kids are broke as fuck. They run around with $100 on meme coins. That's not investing. That's gambling. You want the guy that is 40 years old and he runs a business that has access to 100 mil worth of investments. That's why what gets monetized? Is a meme coin going to get monetized by a big investment firm? No, fintech's going to get monetized. Like Coinbase is buying Aerodrome and locking it. I can probably buy Velodrome and lock it on Ink because it serves their business. It's a fintech product. And that is why these things are hated because people hate what they are intimidated by and what they do not understand. Hope that helps. I got that one. This all seems so redundant, like pro sports. Know your smart contracts. Ah, yeah, it's all the same shit over and over again. I mean, everything is the same shit over and over again. And very rarely do you see something new, like a Pendle. That's something new. Did well. Or CRVUSD. That was new. I mean, Bold from Liquidity V2. That's something new. New isn't always great. And I'm very hesitant to entertain their new model right away. Um, Anywho, but most of the shit's the same shit over and over again. That's what we remember in 21. We had so many Aave forks and so many compound forks. It was fork, 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 fork. Everything was a fork. New is rare, but you don't necessarily need new. Sometimes it's the old shit that they're like, oh, it survived the liquidation cascade. Curve survived 22 and 23 and a short attack on Aave. And Mitch getting liquidated? It survived? It's still around? How much is deposited? 1.6, $1.8 billion? What? Uh, you guys, and you leaning over your shoulder talking to your boys in the office that are managing $100 billion or $100 million fund. All right, so that's the deal there. Yeah, Fluid Dex. That's even more interesting. So Fluid, but that's what InstaDApp is. InstaDApp is Fluid. This InstaDApp made Fluid. They got to probably work on their products and how they organize it better. But the Dex, the Fluid Dex. Yeah, I look forward to the Fluid Dex user interface. Um, yeah, I'm familiar with what you're talking about. Not the Aave Parallel product, but they don't have the user interface yet, do they? No, it's just lend, borrow, refinance. I look forward to seeing what their Dex offers. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up because I'm exhausted for today. Brian, late night, yes indeed. I appreciate all of you. It is Wednesday, November 6th at 11:17 p.m. Holy crap, we had a lot to talk about, but it was a good stream. We got through a lot of good concepts, and hopefully we remained rational the entire time. 274 people made it to the end of the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you this late night on a Wednesday. I hope by the end of the stream we're just all a little bit more rational together. And I will see if I can get a stream out Friday. I might be busy this week, but in any case, post election, market looks good. I will surely be on X posting away. I wish you all a good one, and I will see you next time. Y'all have a good night now. Peace.